about holacracy. Holacracy is a methodology that helps to maintain and structure the self-management organizations. And this is very, I found it very exciting. Right? Back that time, there was another CEO in the company where I was working, and I had very controversial feelings because this guy, on one hand, was really into this holacracy thing, and in many terms it was eye-opener for me. But when I was seeing what he's doing and how he is acting, he was totally in the orange culture. That means the command and control, and everything has to be, we should have a policy, and we should have a strict line of authority and hierarchy and all of these things. And I just didn't know what to do with it, so that was a little bit controversial for me. And the time passed, and this guy and a few other people has left the organization. And it turned out, I don't go into the details, but I took the CEO role and the majority of the shares in the company. Earlier, I was active mainly in business development and consulting and product management. And it was a totally new role for me. I had no really precise ideas that how it really works. So what I did is is in my nature that I started to innovate the organization, innovate the product portfolio, and giving people the opportunity to change their roles. And I think there was one very important thing that I would highlight as one of the first signs, that there was one project manager guy called Ferry. We were out in a party, in a wedding. We were after a couple of beers, and he was telling me that, look, Kristof, that I don't want to do this project management thing anymore. I want to do UX designing, user experience designing. And we were talking about this, and I said that, okay, let's do it. So what can go wrong? So that's, I mean, many things can go wrong, but why don't we give the opportunity? And I was, making a deal in my head that this is a good guy, he's committed, he's loyal, he's talented, so just is considering to lose this guy, comparing to risking his role change. I didn't know at that time it's called changing a role. That was one of the first acts when I had first-hand experience as a leader. And I think it was very important, the support what I gave this guy naturally. That, okay, you can do this. And you don't have to worry about, in the first couple of weeks or months, you won't be that productive as you could be in a project manager, but you don't have to worry about this. Now you have to worry about just one thing, is to develop yourself as fast as possible. And it was very good because this was giving a new direction to the company in terms of the product portfolio, because before that we didn't really have a design department. We had only coding and project management department. But this has ended up to opening an entire new field of activities that we have. We were experimenting a little bit far back in the past, but not recently, and not in the era when I was leading the company. And afterwards, some other people followed it, and we have managed successfully some transitions between people. That, okay, I don't want to do this anymore, but I would like to do that. I want to develop myself in that field, and it became a pattern in the company. So I have calculated in the end of the year, or summarized it, that we were like 18, I think 15, 18 back that time, and 5 or 6 people has changed major role in their daily activity, and we have managed it without any serious struggling, and that was a very good experience. And after that, I have started to learn more about this holacracy thing. Came back to my life because a friend company started up, and they started to implement holacracy, and we started to have lots of discussions, after work discussions about this, and I got that, yeah, this is what we need, because we were coming from agile software development. Then we went to lean startup methodology, product development. And I have always felt that something is missing from this, because I don't know how familiar, are you familiar with agile and lean as terms? So just in a very nutshell, agile is a way how, if you know what you need to deliver, or more or less at least, you can deliver it in little iterations. So you always have the time to think through what you have done, and if the priorities are changing, you can adapt. You don't have to make like a 6 or 12 months plans, but 1 or 2 weeks plans, very precisely. And it's very good, but it doesn't give the answer for the question of how do you decide the priorities. So it's a given thing, it's an externalia in the system. And the lean startup methodology is giving an answer for the what would make sense to be developed in a product development or in this service providing. And I think these are very, very important elements, because this requires from people the mindset of continuously reflecting to the environment, continuously reflecting to the dynamics inside the team. Because in these teams, one of the key elements is that there is no very strong hierarchy. There are some, but it's mainly connected to roles, like the Scrum Master, or which is a kind of project manager, or the product owner, or the senior developer. These are more, mainly roles that anyone in the team theoretically can fulfill. It's not a kind of giving the right from the leader that, okay, that you are going to do this or you are going to do that. So this is a natural way of self-organizing, I think, which is very, very useful, because we are not focusing on organization development or organization transformation, but we are focusing on solving real problems in our daily work, why we are changing the way how we collaborate with each other. And it's very dangerous if we start to talk too much. I will get back to this, but it's very dangerous when we talk too much about company transformation and changing attitudes, changing behavior, because people immediately begin to feel that they are not good enough. And but if we are doing this in the daily routine, in the daily work, and we insert it in step by step, people just don't realize it, but they are changing their habits. And I think this is one of the explanations why the IT companies are succeeding first to implementing many self-organizing systems nowadays. And so back to the topic, we have implemented agile system, then we have implemented this lean system, and I would consider ourselves very advanced in the self-management, but some hierarchy still existed. And when I handed over the CEO role, I have removed all the hierarchies from the system. There was only one guy, the CEO, and the rest of the team. And in the organization, which is still a hierarchical system, but it was very flat. And in the team, there are smaller teams, obviously, in the organizations, and who is taking the lead in the team is started to be more designed by the job that has to be done, and not by the people who are there. And obviously there is a correlation between it, because if there is a super extroverted, very focused guy, then it's a natural leader. So it's related to the person itself, but it's not set in stone. And if this person is leaving the team for some reason, then we can easily replace it, because it's not deeply attached to the person. Sometimes it worked better, sometimes it didn't work that well, but we started to move forward into this. So when I have first heard about holacracy, I had an idea about this, and then I started to train a little bit myself, reading and talking to many people. My way of learning is rather talking than reading. And after that, I have read the Reinventing Organizations. That was a groundbreaking reading for myself. It helped to put the entire self-management into the proper context. So this is not a matter of good or bad. This is not a matter of good, new or old. This is more like a process that exists for thousands of years in the nature, exists in the human history for thousands of years as well, hundreds of years, and we can see these patterns. So this is not something that we need to invent. We just need to reinvent. We just need to sense it, that how it really works. And that was giving me the context. And afterwards, I made the decision that, okay, as a CEO, I want to work in an organization that is moving towards TL. And I missed the first day morning, but you guys were talking about this mainly, right? So when I say TL,
yeah,
does it ring the bell? Good. So, and the thing what I have done is I started to introduce this book and this concept, these color codes to the community, and we started to organize some workshops around that to understand that what does it really mean a green, a family type of organization, what does it really mean orange type of organization, what does it really mean wolf pack red type of organization, or the teal is the self-organizing one. And we had 2 or 3 workshops with 5-10 people involving into this. And finally, I have asked the question, 2 questions: that where do you put now the organization in this color code scheme, and where do you want to see in the next 1 or 2 years? And I found it very important because this gives me the authority as a CEO to really back in this process. Because if I sense that the people don't really want it, then it doesn't make too much sense to force it. Even though I have sensed that they are not totally aware of that, what they are really, voting for, but at least they had a much better understanding than it was a few weeks earlier. And then it happened that it turned out that we are in a situation when we operate more like a family, and the majority of the people said they want to keep this family thing, so they don't want to become a pure tier organization, but they want to be more tier than now, and they want to remove more the command and control side, keeping the family, and this command and control is moving towards the tier. And that was a very important first step. And then we have started to brainstorm about how should we move forward, and we have invited Melinda and his partner Hockey to have this process as a facilitator. And we knew that they didn't have too much experience in this field, we didn't have neither, but we couldn't find better people who can fit for us. So we said, okay, let's learn in this process together. And now it ended up that we have identified some major challenges. So how do we start the process of this? So how to change a more or less self-organizing family type of system into a more self-organizing one. We have identified a couple of major tensions inside the organizations, and it was very hard. It took like 1 or 2 days. And then finally we have selected one that was affected everyone, and it was the salary system. The salary system was not transparent. This was the only one thing that wasn't transparent in the entire company. Even the financial details of the project or company was available for every colleague, but the salary is not, for historical reasons. Because when the company was funded, it wasn't a trend to publish this information. But we always felt that this is not really good, and we felt that, okay, now there is a problem that the newcomer people earn more than the loyal ones, just because the market prices went up. And how to fix it? There are 2 ways. One is that I, as a CEO, is going to define that what is the right way of balancing out the salaries, or I let the community to do the job. And we started to investigate it, and the core group, following these terms, get together and try to solve this issue. And it was very hard because when you are playing with salary, you are playing with the low-level Maslow in the pyramid. So it's when we are talking about self-development or self-organization in abstract things like how do we organize the meetings, or what is the purpose or the values, these are too abstract. You don't really feel the pain on your skin. I mean, you will maybe 1 or 2 years later, and these are super important things. But when you are talking about, okay, you might earn less or more. And maybe it will turn out that Belinda earns more money than you, but you do equally job, or you earn more than money than you will feel bad about it. So that's something that is really hard. And finally, I think this was the most important movement, that we were struggling in this process for so long, and I was trying to facilitate it with the help of other people, and it was a back and forward game. The self-organization showed its real nature, that someone stand up who has the biggest tension with the status quo in terms of salary-wise, and in terms of that, why don't we move forward? And this guy called Amr, he's from Egypt, he just stand up and says, guys, why don't we publish our salaries for everyone? And yeah, it's a risk, but why don't we publish it and try to fix it together? And that was a major breakthrough, that if I ask it from the people, I can do it, I have the legal power to do it, even as a CEO, but if I do it, we are just following the same pattern. But someone stand up and asked the people, invited the people to share the salaries and fix this shit together. That was the major breakthrough. That was the first nature of the self-organizing. And see the miracle, within 12 hours, everyone put into a spreadsheet their salaries, and we could fix the salary system within 2 weeks from there. That we were struggling for like 2 months earlier. And that was maybe the most important thing. And what I will I can talk a lot about this, and there are many other things. But what I would like to invite you now is this little game, when we can go into under the skin of these people who were involved into this. And what I would like to ask is to go to this place together.